Headphone highlights. Welcome back. Yeah, we're continuing with some more gaming headset extravaganzas. Woo. And got a special one for us today. This is a pretty well-known gaming headset. One of the big wigs, kind of the big three. I feel like the big three for gaming headsets is like HyperX, Razer, and Steelseries. So we got one of the big three with us today. Pretty excited to talk about it. But in order for me to talk about it, I have to once again ask the all-important question, as I did last time when we were talking about the G80s and our first kind of adventure into gaming headsets. And that question is, do you even game, bro? Oh, yes. This is the aesthetic we're going with tonight. I don't know. I see you snickering over there. I see you judging. And I gotta say, I'm a little put off by the judging. I don't know what you're snickering about. This is a perfectly normal, perfectly average gaming headset that a lot of people own, a lot of people love. So I'm not really understanding the snickering coming from you right now. Yes, the cat ears. Okay, so what do we have here? These are the Steelseries Arctic 7s, wireless Arctic 7s. Yeah, they look a little different. That's because this is my wife's pair of headphones. This is my wife's gaming headset. And she has some nice D brand skins on here. And of course, the amazing cat ears, which do, I promise you, improve the listening experience. Yeah, the Arctic 7. So the Arctic's line of headphones is known for being pretty darn good stuff. And she's had a lot more experience with this than I have. But this is a very, very well-loved, well-used headphone, let me tell you. So if you're gonna notice some kind of like quirkiness about the build, like the pads are a little stained with some makeup, the headband is a little wonky, so be in mind that this headset has had a lot of use. She uses this every single night, so it's been well used and well loved. Keep that into consideration as we kind of take a look at it here. But yeah, the Arctics headphones from Steelseries, very, very popular brand of headphones here, and I think for good reason. So we'll start out as we always do with the build. These are built really, really well. This is going to be a little difficult for you to get a sense of because of the skins being used here. So I'm going to do my best to kind of explain what this is stock. At stock, you can get this headset in either all white or all black. Hers is the all black variant, but she does have these D brand skins on here to really kind of spice it up. So looking at the side here, I know yes, it is that kind of carbon fiber, but usually this would be a very plain black plate here on the cup that would have the Steelseries logo on it. Very, very subtly, very nice. It is a plastic construction. There are no real metal parts in here, and that leaves it to be a very lightweight headphone, while also still being a very well-built headphone. This is very good, high-quality plastic being used here. So yes, the cup is all hard plastic, but it's good plastic. It doesn't feel toy-like. It doesn't feel flimsy and cheap. And going into the headband, it's a wonderfully well-designed swivel and hinge mechanism here. It doesn't do a whole lot of this, but it does enough. So we could tilt up and down this way just enough to kind of adjust to the side of your head, but it also can fold flat if you need it to do so. So you get plenty of movement this way, and then more movement than you'll ever really need this way. It will not go the opposite direction, so it'll only lay flat in one direction. Going into the headband, this yoke here, this hinge, is very, very well built, very, very sturdy. Again, she's had this for many years, and it doesn't feel loose. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break, and I have full confidence in the build on this thing. And then going into the headband is where things start to get kind of interesting. As we go into the yoke here, and it becomes the headband suddenly becomes this very thin, very thin. It's hard for you to see this, but it's this very thin little sheet of metal here, spring steel, I am assuming, that has on the top of it this strap that goes all the way around and then loops into here. Let's try actually get the headphone in there. There you go. Pardon all the fuzz on there. It loops over the headband, goes into this little loop on the slot on the hinge, and becomes a comfort strap. There you see. This comfort strap is elastic, so it will kind of stretch to whatever fit you need, but also the implementation of this comfort strap is kind of ingenious, because what they did here to ensure that you can adjust the size of the comfort strap without having to rely solely on the elasticity of it is that this strap is entirely removable. Right here where we have the logo, it is connected just simply through Velcro. And you could actually pull the entire, if you wanted to, I'm not going to, but you could pull the entire comfort strap off of the headphone and also kind of adjust the size of it. So you're able to do two things because of this. One, you can adjust how much tension there is, right? So there's a lot of tension, or I could have it Velcroed a little bit tighter, and now we have less tension. So a bigger head can go in here than previously. So yeah, it helps with the size, but it also helps make it very, very easy to replace the comfort strap. Comfort strap is probably the part besides the ear pads that's going to get kind of gnarly over time. And, you know, from your mega gamer sweat. So that's a good option to have to replace your comfort strap, or to just customize it. You can get custom straps for this to kind of customize the headphone any way you want. So I really like this system. I think this is pretty ingenious. I wish that a lot more, especially gamer themed headsets, did something like this, because it's really simple, it's really cheap to produce, and it's very, very effective. So I like this comfort strap situation a lot. Other than that, the comfort strap is, you know, it's perfectly soft and nice. The underside of the headband here is a little bit of like rubber right here, soft kind of rubberized texture. It doesn't really provide padding. There's not, I could squeeze this. It's not really giving me any comfort. It's not squishy really. It's just kind of soft and there. You really have to rely on the comfort strap, and that's fine because the comfort strap is lovely. And it also means that you could attach fun little things like these without them having to be touching your head. Without this comfort strap, this would be really uncomfortable. So thank goodness for that. Going into the pads, they're a good size pad, good ear volume. I put them on. They're absolutely an over-ear design, and these are absolutely a closed-back headphone. My voice is muffled. I can no longer hear my fan in the room, and it's got really good noise isolation. If I were to kind of push it a little bit, if these had a bit more clamp force, which at purchase, brand new, they might. Again, these are fairly old. It does get even a little bit better. The isolation gets a little bit better, but otherwise, very good isolation. So good size cups, good size pads. Now again, I'm going to show these pads off. Yes, they are stained with makeup, so keep them in mind. Yours, brand new, will not look like this. But again, these are pads that she has had for many years. And considering that, the only thing that has really done anything to these pads is the stain from the makeup. If there was no other wear or tear. So these are amazing pads for durability. They're also pretty darn soft. They're soft, they're squishy. They're not a memory foam, they're just kind of a light foam. They're a very soft pad. They're kind of this fabric texture. But yeah, they're very soft. Not memory foam, but still very soft, very plushy. And they form very well to the side of your head. Good pads. And you can swap these pads out. You can buy replacements for these pads and exchange them for new pads, or they actually come in, there's a couple different types of pads you can get if you want to try maybe a little bit of pad swapping to potentially change and or improve your audio tuning. So that is an option. I'm still using the stock pads on these. She's still using the stock pads on these, so I don't have that for comparison, but I do know that that is an option. Those are available. Continuing, you'll notice there's not really much of a microphone like sticking out obnoxiously. That is because the microphone is right here, this little nub that is inside of the cup. You can pull it out. Zoop. And there you go. There is your microphone for your headset. It is bendy, as it should be. It will light up here when it is active and on. However, you can, with the push of a button, mute it very easily. You can also just tuck it right back in there. It's a good system. I like it. I do have these wired right now, but you do not have to have them wired. They are a wireless headphone. So let's take a look a little bit at the interface, because there's a lot here. One thing of which is, I think, particularly cool. So if we look at the left cup where the microphone is, we have right here is a mute button for your microphone. There you go. This is your audio wheel to increase the audio inside the headphone without having to adjust it on your system or on your PC, whatever. This does have a built-in amplifier, which is a fairly nice amplifier. We'll talk about that later. Down here, you have I'm not sure what the heck this little port is. I didn't look into that. This is not a micro USB port. I'm not sure what that is. It almost looks like a micro HDMI or mini HDMI port. It's very, very weird. I don't know what that's for. I'll put that out there for you. But right here, we have our 3.5mm audio jack so that you can connect these wired. Next, we have our micro USB port for charging. Yes, it's micro USB. It is not USB-C. Yes, that's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. It works very well. These charge fairly quickly and they do last for quite a while. They boast on their site that it has a 24-hour battery life. My wife only has to charge these once a week and she plays 2+ hours every single night. So that's pretty good battery life, especially for a headset that she's had for so long. So the battery has maintained a pretty good lifespan. What else? Oh, yes. Okay. The other side, on the right-hand cup, we have our power button. And then this wheel here, this wheel is particularly interesting. What this wheel does is you can adjust on the fly what you want to hear. Do you want to hear more of your chat or more of the game audio? This wheel will, in real time, adjust the variable volume of both sides. Either you can go, if you want to, you can go full tilt just your chat or full tilt just the game audio, but also you can adjust it anywhere in between. It's a really, really great feature that I don't see in many gaming headsets that I think is super great. And I love this little wheel. I think this is a great addition and a great idea. So this is not a Bluetooth wireless headset. This is a 2.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi wireless headset. What does that mean for us exactly? Well, it means you can't really connect this just to any Bluetooth device. Instead, you have to use an included little dongle. And here's what that dongle looks like. This tiny little thing right here. You plug this in via simple USB to your PC or your console, and this will act almost like a standalone Wi-Fi receiver just for the headphone. They boast that it provides this kind of lossless, high-quality wireless connection. Maybe it does. I kind of don't like this too much because it does limit the use case of the headphone. If I could use this like any other Bluetooth headphone, there's a lot of devices I could enjoy it with. But for whatever reason, they decided to go with this instead. But, you know, if you're only intending for it to only work with, say, your PlayStation or your Xbox, and you're not intending it to be connected to any other device, I mean, this will be fine. You plug it in, you forget about it. It does come with a 3.5mm audio cable and a micro USB cable. I don't have those cables here with me, but I have seen them, and they're pretty basic. They have a fairly decent, fairly basic weave to them, like a fiber cloth weave to them. So they are pretty nice. for a basic, just, bog standard gaming headset cable. Good build. I actually really, really like the build on this. I think it's a super high quality build, better than a lot of gaming headsets out there. Yes, it is all plastic, with the exception of the spring steel for the headband, but it's very, very good plastic, and it's built very, very well. It's robust. I'm not worried about it breaking. And after the many years that my wife has been using it, it holds up perfectly. It's totally fine, totally robust, and working great. So good build. The comfort, because it is a plastic headphone, it's, again, pretty darn light. And because it uses a comfort strap, you are benefiting, one, it's a light headphone, and two, the comfort strap distributes the weight of the headphone evenly over your head, as comfort straps tend to do. So your head comfort is great. Yeah, I do feel a slight bit of weight, right? It's not like it's weightless like some of the other stuff we have looked at, but it's, again, distributed so evenly that it's almost a non-issue. It's very, very comfortable, and because the comfort strap is that soft elastic, it itself is very comfortable on my head. It's also wide enough that I don't feel like it's kind of pressuring down on me anywhere, so it just feels really solid, really nice. The ear comfort, there's not a tremendous amount of clamp force. There is a little bit, but not enough to be, I would say, uncomfortable. The way that they are kind of sitting on the head, it's kind of a little bit of a combination of both. You're getting the clamp force, but also a little bit of this comfort strap is what's also kind of keeping that locked onto your head. So it doesn't really feel like it's very loose. I'm not super worried about it falling off. I'm sure if I shook my head violently, it probably would, but it feels pretty snug. These pads, again, very soft and very isolating, but they still breathe very well. Whatever this kind of material is, this fabric, it's a little breathable. So I'm able to wear these fairly long without it really getting hot on the ear. But again, it's having this breathability without it losing that sound isolation. So very, very good with the comfort and the feel of the ear. Very, very good comfort on the head. Very good weight. So yeah, the cups form and fit to the side of your head really easily. There's really no adjustment required other than Velcroing the amount of tension you want on the comfort strap. Once you have that set, you're done. So really, really easy to adjust this. So with all those things considered, where does it sit in our comfort cloud scale? I tell you, it's pretty high up because these are very comfortable. They could be more comfortable, I think, if the pads were just a little bit thicker. And if maybe I had just a little bit more width in the comfort strap. It's plenty. It's totally fine. I'm just being nitpicky here, but if the comfort strap was just a little bit wider, I don't think I would feel it nearly as much. And if the pads were just a little bit softer, it'd almost be like literally wearing a cloud on your head. Wow, okay. Well, turn of events here. The cloud comfort has already been decided. Lady Marslander has already decided what we need to rate these things. I mean, off the bat, she's the one that uses these every single day and has been for many years. So she's the one that should rightfully have the say. But I will add, I agree with her. I think it's absolutely a solid 8 clouds of comfort. That's right. Blast those 8 clouds of comfort emotes. Because yeah, really, really good. I mean, yeah, it could be a little bit better, but not by much. Really, really excellent. And right out of the gate without having to really do any modifications on them too. So good, great, comfortable little gaming headset here. All right, so before we get into the sound, let's talk about this microphone. I like that it's compact. I like the compact feature of the microphone very, very much. It can extend out, it can bend, you can bring it as close to as you want to your mouth, it's fine. The sound quality of it is honestly pretty okay. It's better than, I think, most generic gaming headsets. For those of you watching on YouTube, here is what it sounds like.
This is what the microphone sounds like on the Steelseries Arctis 7 headset.
So pretty decent, I'd say above average for gaming headset microphones. However, right here on the Steelseries website. Arctis 7, best mic in gaming. The best microphone in gaming headsets, huh? The best microphone in gaming headsets, huh? Not quite. Not quite. Does not even come close to the Cooler Masters. But it is, I would say, a pretty decent leap, better than the G80s and those Sony Pulse 3s we heard. So not to detract from the microphone. It is a good mic. It's above average for a gaming headset. It is not the best, though. Not by a long shot. Really quick, let's talk about the range, the wireless range on these. Not to be too surprised, it's pretty good. Again, this is not a Bluetooth wireless headset. This is a Wi-Fi wireless headset. My test was the same that I do for Bluetooth, but I had very good results. I was able from this room to walk downstairs into my laundry room, shut the door. Everything sounded fine. I did not have any interference. It wasn't until I took this outside into my backyard that there started to be some interference. And I think that was really more a limit of the range of the Wi-Fi of that little dongle than really anything else. But yeah, really good connection. It was solid. Okay, the sound. These sound pretty excellent. But we're going to start out with their music performance. Can you listen to music with these? Yes. Should you? You could. You could listen to music with these. I would say that it might not be the best listening experience for music. It's very interesting to me how these gaming headsets so often seem to have such a different sound to them when you're listening to music versus when you're listening in game. It's almost always a pretty different experience. It's very odd to me. I don't really know why. But listening to music, these don't have a whole lot of soundstage. It's pretty narrow. So you're pretty much just getting it beamed into your ears. The low end is surprisingly pretty darn well controlled. It's a pretty natural sounding low end. It's not overly bloated. It's not bleeding out into your mid-range and veiling everything. It's still got some good punch to it, but it's just very natural sounding. It's surprising, especially for a gaming headset. So a pretty good neutral balance in your bass range. Mid-range is, I'd say, a little bit recessed. It's not particularly forward. It's not the clearest mid-range. And vocals are actually pretty intimate. They're pretty close and they're pretty clear. They can have a tendency to have a little bit of distortion with either very, very deep male vocals or very, very high female vocals. And I say distortion, but it's not as bad as it might sound. It's just almost as if the speaker just can't quite continue with the frequency that those voices are hitting. It kind of crackles. That sounds worse than it is. But there is just a slight little bit of distortion. The treble range is decent. It's fairly detailed, not super detailed, and it is it's a good balance. It's again not a very elevated treble, so this isn't really a very V-shaped headphone. It's almost getting on the line of neutral, which is super weird for a gaming headset like this, but I can't really say that it is a neutral headphone. It is a very flat sound signature in terms of like it sounds flat. It's like not dynamic at all. It's a very, very low dynamic sound. So it's very kind of even, not very exciting sounding, but again, this is just for music we're talking about. When it comes to gaming, everything changes. All of a sudden you get a pretty decent amount of soundstage right off the bat. I was listening to some of the simulation on some like urban warfare, and man, so much space, a huge amount of space of spatial awareness. So good soundstage, good spatial awareness, and excellent imaging. The imaging on these for gaming is awesome. With music, the separation isn't great. It's a little difficult to kind of pinpoint where certain instruments are coming from, besides it just kind of being left or right. But when gaming, very, very clearly do I have a 360 degrees of imaging isolation. I can pinpoint that there's a plane coming from this direction, and I hear it fly over my head and then go in front of me like that. So excellent imaging for gaming. Gunfire is coming over there. Guy is walking towards me over there. And it's all around. And coupled with the soundstage you're getting with it, it's excellent. Excellent, excellent for gaming. And since that's what they're for, hooray, right? Hooray. Yeah. So, but how does it compare when it's wired versus when it's wireless? Once again, for whatever reason, these things just kind of seem to sound a little bit different when they're being played wirelessly. With a wireless connection, I'm actually getting a little bit more in the bass range. The bass hits a little bit deeper, it's a little bit thwompier, and a little bit more dynamic. The built-in amplifier in here, I suppose, is just kind of adding this extra sense of enormity to everything. So again, while gaming, it sounds big, spacious, dynamic, and cinematic. With music, the bass does tend to start to bleed a little bit. Where when it's just wired in, the bass was very kind of natural sounding. When it's wireless, the bass gets elevated and gets a little bit too thwompy for it to be natural sounding. It's no longer, it goes from a natural sound to a clearly elevated sound. So there's a little bit of a difference when you're listening to these wired versus wireless. I'd say because they're a wireless headphone, and they're probably more often than not going to be listening to them wirelessly, especially for gaming. Yeah, it sounds great for gaming wirelessly. Definitely a gaming focused headset. That's what it's for, and it delivers on that. One of the better sounding gaming headsets out there, I think. It sounds really, really great. And your spaciousness and your imaging are top notch. I mean, I haven't really heard many gaming headsets that have that sense of spaciousness with also this very, very clear distinction of where things are coming from. This delivers on that in a really, really top tier kind of way. So pretty excellent. For music, not so much. I mean, it's fine for music. If you have nothing else, you could do a hell of a lot worse. It's just kind of not meant for that. Probably the biggest question you're going to get is, well, do I go with the Arctis 7s or do I go with the Arctis 9s? The 9s are the tier up above these. I haven't heard the 9s, so I can't give you that audio comparison, but right off the bat, I can't really imagine the 9s being a significant leap in performance from the 7s. So if you're okay with just saving like $50, go with the 7s. I would say probably don't worry about the 9s. The 9s have some other cool things. Like I think the 9s are the ones that you can replace the faceplate with other faceplates and really customize it even more. But there's always skins like what we have here. So unless you really, really need your magnetic faceplate swapping, I'd say just go with the 7s because they're great. They're awesome. One of the better gaming headsets I think are out there right now. I do think they're still a little overpriced. These are currently $170. And for $170, sure, you're getting a good gaming headset, but not really that much better than, say, our Cooler Masters, which are, what, half the price? I'll tell you, you're not getting double the performance. But if you just really want to have that Steelseries reliability, for one, but also the brand name, the bragging rights, and a pretty cool aesthetic, then I get it. If it were up to me, I'd get them on sale. I think at full price, they're a little bit of a hard sell. But yeah, they're great. Good stuff. I like them. And that's that.